Kelly and Al Lamont.
Yeah, good evening again. Thanks, Richard. Welcome to Dens Park. As the home side look for a first win in 16 against Rangers, for whom the number 16 is also a pertinent one, the deficit between them and the league leaders. And whether or not you believe there is still a chance of Rangers catching Celtic, the need for 3 points is still a pressing one. Rangers away record, as the guys are chatting about, nothing short of dismal. 3 wins from 10, a principal reason why the title race is as good as over. Dundee's home form isn't much better. Only St Johnstone have fewer points on their home ground. What does that mean for this game? Well, who knows? We shall see. Robin Proper wearing the captain's armband, a notice for Rangers tonight. He and the referee just exchanging a few words there as the referee takes the ball into the centre spot. Dundee in their traditional home kit, navy tops, white shorts, navy socks. It will be them to get us underway. Rangers in a white top, blue shorts and white socks. Dundee will go from right to left in this first half at Dens Park. As the Dundee song, the final few strains of that ebb away, and referee Callum Scott prepares to get us underway. Simon Murray just geeing up his teammates, and the final few seconds before kick-off here at Dens. And another interesting 90 minutes ahead. Just notice as we prepare to kick off that Nsiala is playing on the left-hand side of that central pairing. Robin Proper, who has been playing left centre-back for most of his time at Rangers thus far, just switches to the right, which will probably suit him a bit more. I'm not actually sure if Nsiala is left-footed or not, but we'll soon establish that. But it's Dundee who get us underway, and immediately they launch the ball forward. And although Tony Docherty was a little bit reticent to talk too much about whether they could hurt this Rangers backline, a makeshift backline, you'd have to say, you would have to imagine that that's very much in his thinking, especially the way Hibernian came back into the game and got those 3 goals. Good touch early on for Conor Barron to step away from his marker. Then Hadji tries to thread it through there for Czerny. It wasn't a bad idea, but it didn't quite come off. Cut out on its way through, and it's all the way back to Liam Kelly, all in pink this evening. He just rolls it out, underarm to Proper. Very much the senior figure in that Rangers backline now, and Nsiala on his debut, awaiting his first touch as the ball's played out to the left-hand side. Rangers seem plenty of the ball in these opening stages. Here's Bayrami, just switches it out to the right-hand side with Yilmaz continuing at right back. The left-footed Turk plays it infield to Diamondi. He's quickly challenged there in the midfield by Garza. Or Garza, I should really say, given he's Mexican. I must... Billy will be pulling me up on my Spanish pronunciations.
Got that wrong.
Well, it's not so much wrong, Billy. I won't go into the intricacies of the Spanish versus the Mexican pronunciation for the moment. But
so what one's right then?
Well, they're both right. They're just pronounced differently in different countries. Anyway, that's an aside. Here's Nsiala. Looks like he is left-footed as he plays it to Proper. It's too early for these
Don't let it throw you out.
Silly shenanigans in the commentary. We need to be serious. Here's Yilmaz for Czerny up towards the angle of the box on the right-hand side. Yilmaz once more plays it into the box on his right. Igman trying to make something of it, can't do so though, and it's brought away by Adewumi and out of play off Czerny. The early thoughts then of Rory Loy.
Yeah, it was interesting before the game. It was difficult to place the Dundee, not the formation necessarily, but the personnel. So it looks like Ingram's going to be left wing back, Mulligan's going to be right wing back, and Robertson's going to be right in the middle. I should have listened to Billy's experience, because that's what how he called it. So yeah, that's how Dundee will line up. And then just in terms of the game itself, that's really the first attack we've watched. Yilmaz has done fantastically well at right back, Al, but you know, if you're left-footed at right back, it's those instances there when you go across the ball, not as comfortable as you would like.
Tiffany's trying to make something of it. He is, along with Adewumi, just in behind Simon Murray, and as Rory rightly says, Ethan Ingram, who's naturally a right wing back, is taking his position on the left-hand side with Josh Mulligan continuing on the right wing-back slot. Here's Silla in the centre of the park, and then it's knocked forward by Mulligan into the right channel. Nsiala, first thing he's had to deal with The young Frenchman, 20 years old, in for his debut tonight, and he's done that pretty comfortably. Here's Yilmaz up towards the halfway line, back in field to Barron, and out to the left-hand side to Hadji. Hadji gets it under control, moves up towards the goal line. Jefty in support. It's a neat touch there from Bayrami, and then he goes for goal, and he's over the top. Maybe just got a little bit excited after a really wonderful first touch. It did open up for him, but he perhaps had better options, Billy Dawes, than to go for goal directly himself.
Yeah, but he dropped his shoulder well, got himself that space. It was at the angle, but it was good play from Rangers. There's no doubt that their front four, and the way you see Barron spraying the ball about early doors, they've got enough to hurt this Dundee team. It's just whether they can keep a clean sheet, and that was an excellent build-up with an excellent opportunity, Rory.
Yeah, it was, and Barron looks bright early doors. In a lovely turn on the edge of his own box earlier, and you know, if you're playing against a lot of midfield players and a solid back three, you've got to move the ball quickly, and when it does go into Barron, you know, get it out the other side as quickly as possible, and he certainly did that there with a lot of accuracy.
4 minutes in, it ends then. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, and it's Dundee 0, Rangers 0, with Diamondi out to Jefty, midway inside his own half, trying to lose Tiffany. Plays it to the left-hand side to Hadji, and then back into Barron, who immediately gets it out to Yilmaz, crossing the halfway line on the right-hand side. Now it's Czerny stepping in away from Ingram. He switches it back to the left, looking for Hadji right onto his chest. The Romanian looking to take on Mulligan, comes back in field on the angle of the box, left-hand side. Now it's Jefty, shifts it back to Czerny, who's in a central area. Poor pass from him. Dundee make the challenge. Silla picks up, Czerny trying to win it back. Rangers looking to press high, but Silla emerges with possession, and now it's Adewumi coming down the left-hand side for Dundee. Barron's with him. Yilmaz trying to get back in support as well. Adewumi's made a lot of ground, but in steps Barron and wins it back. He's giving it straight back to him, though he thought Yilmaz was going to collect the pass. And here's Ingram, left-hand side, plays it into the box, and Ciala knocks it half clear. Garza keeps it alive. Tiffany on the edge of the box, tries to get the shot, it's semi-blocked, out to the right-hand side, cut back, Adewumi with a chance, goal! 5 minutes in, and Dundee in front. Rangers couldn't get the lines cleared, and it was cut back from the goal line brilliantly, I think, by Mulligan, and there was Adewumi about 8 yards out to tuck it beyond Liam Kelly. It's Dundee 1, Rangers 0.
Well, it's a catalogue of errors at the back for Rangers out on this Dundee's left-hand side. They give the ball straight back to Dundee. Nobody goes to the ball when it breaks free. The ball's played through, Ingram to the back post, nobody there, it's cut back, and Adewumi's got the space at Dens Park to pick his spot. Don't get me wrong, it's a good finish. Nightmare start for Rangers, fantastic start for Dundee. Adewumi 1-0.
You know what sums up Rangers in this early moments? A lot of good movement, a lot of play going forward. Bayrami gets a chance. As soon as a team do one thing against them, it looks as if the head space goes. And it was just like they win the ball back, Barron, and then Adewumi gives it straight back to him. He rolls in Ingram. One cross gets him in all sorts of trouble. The shot comes in, it's blocked, they don't react, and then they pull back from Mulligan, as you say. I mean, he's not picked up. Adewomi's been out on this left-hand side, and suddenly he's found himself in the box once the ball goes out to the right-hand side. Once it's cut back, nobody's picked him up, and Rangers find themselves 1-0 get down. Brilliantly taken goal by Adewumi, I have to say.
Yeah, his third of the season. Young man.
He's a very good player now.
Yeah, on loan from Burnley, and he's certainly made an impact.
I've seen him a few times, and he's so direct. He gets the ball, he runs at people, and he actually started that move as well. He did give the ball away and ended up getting it back again, but if he can add goals to his game, then, you know, Tony Rockett's got a very good weapon on that left-hand side.
Yeah, I think his loan deal was actually due to run out sometime in January, if I remember correctly, and must check with Tony Docherty after the game whether they're going to be able to, or if they have extended that to the end of the season. But anyway, he's here now, and he's very much made himself known as he grabs the opening goal just after the 5-minute mark. But here Rangers trying to respond, the ball forward from Jefty for Hadji, just wasn't quite accurate enough, and out comes Trevor Carson to grab that at the edge of his area. And so with 7.5 minutes on the clock, as the home side who lead. That's their first goal actually in 3 games against Rangers this season. A couple of defeats at Ibrox already, one in September, one in December, but in front early on their home territory. Here's Simon Murray coming forward, no way past Yilmaz though, and Czerny picks up, but he's lost it to Ingram. Ingram now left hand side, forward to the goal scorer Adewumi, up against Proper, who just bundles him aside. No free kick as Barron clears his lines from inside the penalty area. Igman just on the edge of the centre circle, can't hold on to it. And Siala finds Diamonde, and now it's Bayrami getting it back from Igman, and now to Hadji, left hand side, just inside his own half. Barron now. Remember, Nico Raskan missing through suspension, accumulation of 6 yellow cards in the first half of the season, means he misses this one. Barron stepping in, looking to recapture the form that he showed immediately at the start of the season. Out to the left hand side then for Hadji. Hadji almost at the byline, cuts back in on the right, looks to link with Bayrami. Bayrami can't bring it under control. He's challenged and it's out for a throw-in on the far side, about 25 yards from the corner flag, quickly taken by Jefti into Barron. Barron on the left, closed down, has to go back the way to Nsiala, former AC Milan youth player. Here he is getting it back from Proper, and then out to Jefti. It's a good ball from Nsiala. Jefti takes a decent first touch. Now he's up to the byline, has to check back though, rather than putting the early cross in. Plays a 1-2 with Bayrami and then goes back the way to Barron. Barron now midway inside the Dundee half. Rangers looking for an early response to the Dundee opener. Here's Yilmaz, right hand side, well advanced. Silla though steps down and intercepts the pass. Proper makes a challenge but can't win the ball, but then Silla runs it out of play just in front of Tony Docherty's dugout, but he'll be by far the happier manager in these opening 9.5 minutes, Billy Dodds.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Rangers have had all the possession, but just the one time Dundee have got up the part of the score. Rich asked at the start of the game, the weaknesses, will they be able to keep a clean sheet? Well, the answer is no, and it was emphatic as soon as the 6-minute mark came and they had their first attack. Just put a cross in the box, they went to the right hand side, then another cutback comes in and Rangers simply didn't handle it, but Dundee did. They found themselves spare and rattled it into the net.
Here's Yilmaz, right hand side, midway inside the Dundee half, lays it off for Barron, who then helps it on to Jefti, left hand side. Now Hadji takes over, up against Mulligan. Hadji gets the cross into the box, half cleared by Robertson. Rather made a hash of that clearance, but Adewumi then plays it off. Diamonde is behind for a goal kick. We've played 10 minutes here, and it's Dundee 1, Rangers 0.
That's what I would be asking for Yannick Hadji every single time. Now, the ball's been switched out to him. That's the fourth time. The first 3 times, you know, the switch has been a good one. He's got space, take a touch and deliver. Igaman's already shown he can score goals from cross balls inside the box, whether that's a header, whether that's with his feet. The fourth time he does deliver it, it causes a little bit of chaos in the box, and if it drops to Igaman, you know, he's got half a chance. So I'd be getting that ball switched out to Hadji because he is naturally left-footed, and getting the ball in at the first time of asking.
I actually wasn't sure what Hadji's natural foot was, because he's so good with both of them. As he nudges it back to Nsiala, who then plays it back to Kelly. Kelly for Proper now, still inside his own penalty area, plays it forward rather aimlessly. Proper still got, I think, a lot to prove to the Rangers fans. Here's Tiffany driving forward. Nsiala makes a good block, but it'll spin behind for a Dundee corner. 11 minutes in as they look to add to their early advantage here.
Yeah, as I said, Rangers have had all the possession, but Dundee sniffed blood. Simple as that, because they've scored in the only time they've got the pitch, and then as soon as Tiffany picks up, they're only thinking one thing: past Barron, driving at the defence, hits a strike, block for a corner. Really good play from Tiffany.
Yeah, and as Rory pointed out earlier, only the top 2 Celtic and Rangers have scored more than Dundee this season. Here they look for a second of the evening as Tiffany sends it in back post. A good climb by Donnelly, and it came off a Rangers head last, and it's going to go behind for another corner, this time on the near side for Dundee, as they look to continue a positive start to the game.
Yeah, Donnelly was on it. I think it was Igaman, was it? Rory got the final head. I think
Donnelly headed it off his head.
Did well though, whatever way, just to get the defensive set up, because they're not the tallest round the back.
So Tiffany comes across to the Dundee left to take this corner, but not before the referee has had a word with 2 or 3 Dundee players who are swarming around Liam Kelly on his goal line there. It's going to make it really tough for the keeper to come and do anything about this. I think that's Clark Robertson right in front of him as Tiffany sends it in towards the back post. As a Dundee head, it wins it, and then a shot comes in, blocked by a Rangers body. It's really difficult to see who's who in there, but regardless, as Kelly comes off his line and punches clear, didn't want to risk trying to catch that one. Igman can't keep it in. It's a Dundee throw-in on this near side down at the corner flag, but Rangers really at 6s and 7s inside their own 6-yard box.
They are, Al, and you know the corners aren't whipped in with pace and really dangerous. They're floated ones, and you hit the nail on the head. Dundee's heads on it first, and it has been that way from every set piece so far, and it just causes so much disruption. And Dundee and Tony Docherty will have done their homework, and you know, watching Liam Kelly maybe at Motherwell and at the weekend against Hibs, even now with the long throw, they're crowding him, they're getting round him, and they're putting him under pressure and making it difficult for him. So he's got to stand up tonight and deal with these situations better than he has been.
There's Donnelly preparing to hurl this one in from the left-hand side. It's a huge throw into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's Nsiala who wins that one. Adewumi has a swing at it from the edge of the box, and ball well over the crossbar in the end, and Rangers survive that particular foray into the penalty area, but they're not comfortable at the back just at the moment, that is for sure. And it's Dundee 1, Rangers 0.
No, they're not. And whether it's corners hitting that back area when I think it was Jefty who was left 1 for 1 and not the tallest, as Philip Clement said pre-match, but on that occasion it was Donnelly with a long throw and absolutely launched, and they win the header, they deal with it, Rangers, but it breaks to Adewumi, who strikes over the crossbar. But yet another chance, another second ball drops to Dundee.
Here's Jefty powering forward. Now it's Hadji, left hand side, just inside the Dundee half, coming in field now and bringing it out to the right to Yilmaz. Tony Docherty at the edge of his technical area, urging his players to get back in their shape as Egeman picks up right hand side, tries to play it off a Dundee body, but the assistant referee says that came off Egeman last, and it will be a Dundee throw-in midway inside their own half on this left hand side as they come forward. Philippe Clement also at the edge of his own technical area, trying to G his players up, looking for a way back to get on level terms, having fallen behind so early to Oluwaseun Adewumi's opening goal as Proper gets his head to the throw-in. Garza has only directed that towards Egeman. Here come Rangers, it's Czerny, right hand side of the penalty area, tries to cut it back, and it comes off a Dundee player, and behind for a corner it was Ryan Ashley who got back and got in the way, and it will be Rangers corner right hand side, which Hadji and Czerny have come across to orchestrate. Rangers looking to get back level. 15 minutes gone here at Dens, 1-0 they trail. Hadji will be the one to take it then, right-footed, and it comes towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was Simon Murray who got the first contact at the near post there. Czerny though has headed it back to Hadji. Now it's Egeman outside the penalty area, tries to play in Bayrami. Bayrami looks to get it away from Garza. Here's Bayrami once more from Barron, still midway inside the Dundee half. Barron now with a big switch out to Hadji, who's still on this right hand side, nods it down for Czerny. Czerny then picks up, darts towards the edge of the penalty, but just too many Dundee bodies there. There's no way through for him, and Silla picks up and finds Tiffany, and now it's Mulligan right hand side. 16 minutes in, Dundee leading by a goal to 0. Tiffany has it on the halfway line, gets it back from Mulligan in possession, and then Dundee just slow things down, just taking the sting out of it. Rangers, as the guys have been saying, have had the bulk of possession, but yet to threaten Trevor Carson really in the Dundee goal.
I thought that was a chance though to feed in Tiffany. Mulligan, when Tiffany did well, laid it off to him and then spun down the outside of the Rangers left centre half, Nsiala, and I think there was a ball on there to put them in behind, and especially with Tiffany's pace, but chose to slow it down. Then possession was lost.
Here's Hadji picking the ball up in a central area, driving towards the Dundee penalty area, out to Czerny now, right hand side, away from Ingram, who's trying to stick with him, lays it off to Yilmaz, desperately wants it on the left foot though. That would have suited a right footer, able to take that on the outside. Instead Rangers come back in field and have to try once more. Yilmaz is going to go for goal, and that is not that far away, a yard or so over the crossbar. It's adventurous from Yilmaz, almost came off but not quite, and it's still Dundee 1, Rangers 0.
Yeah, Tony Docherty will be delighted if that's what Rangers need to resort to, you know, hit shots from 25 yards. You know, Rangers are creating a lot of space in wider areas through moving the ball quite quickly, but they're wasting it in the wider areas. You know, take a touch, get it in the box. If you're Czerny, take a touch back on yourself and whip it into the box. If you're Hadji on the other side, whip it across goal. They're very wasteful, and Dundee look a lot more potent when they attack.
Goal kick taken. Ingram gets the better of Czerny and helps it on to Murray. Adewumi dispossessed by Diamondi, but then in steps Silla, in the middle of the park. Forward it goes down the left-hand side. Proper first to it. Plays it to Yilmaz, right-hand side. Having to go back the way, though, under pressure from Adewumi, but he does well, Yilmaz, to switch the play to Jefte on that left flank, and he comes forward up to the halfway line. Leaves it now to Bayrami. Bayrami picks up possession from Hadji, it was actually, and there's Diamondi now, central area, out to the right to Czerny. Little step over, into the box it goes, comes off a Dundee heel. Garza helps it on to the edge of the penalty area, and Tiffany will try and bring it away, but Rangers pick up once more through Yilmaz. Yilmaz just pokes it to his left to Bayrami. Bayrami further left to Hadji, about 25 yards from the goal line. Bayrami once more on the left flank. Back with Hadji once more. Rangers looking for a way through a well-organised Dundee backline. Here's Jefte in a central area for Czerny. Czerny on the right-hand side, approaching the penalty area. A poor ball in and easily picked up by Silla, but it's given away by Dundee. Diamondi picks up and tries his luck, but that's easily blocked. 19 in still, Rangers trailing by a goal to nil, but very much dominating the ball. Haven't really been able to make much of it as yet, but here's Hadji coming in field from the left-hand side. Can't combine there with Bayrami, but it's cleared only as far as Jefte. And Siala picks up just inside his own half and then plays it square to Proper. Proper out to the right-hand side for Yilmaz. Dundee will want to try and get a hold of the ball a bit more and keep it as Czerny tries to lift it over the top for Hadji, who's made a good run, but it's too much in the pass, and Carson gathers comfortably. Almost 20 played, and it's Dundee 1, Rangers 0.
That type of pass from Czerny needs to be absolutely perfect. You've got a back three camped on the 18-yard line, so it needs to be absolutely pinpoint. It's a really difficult pass, but that's what Dundee are limiting Rangers to at the moment.
Yeah, but you're right, you mentioned it, Rory, that they have to make it more basic. It'd have to be the perfect pass. He's capable, Czerny, but it's one in what? Couple of thousand that you're going to put that in, that is going to be perfect, and it was a real opportunity. You just have to get the ball wide and get crosses in, Rangers.
You come Dundee, ball in for Murray, who goes down inside the 6-yard box under a bit of pressure there from Robin Proper. He's complaining to the referee. It wasn't obvious, certainly from our vantage point, how much contact there was, but the ball's gone behind for a goal kick in the first instance. VAR, of course, will have a look and double check. There's Greg Aitken who's in the VAR room, and Callum Scott is just asking for a delay just for a moment as VAR do their job. Either of you guys got a strong view on that one?
I don't have a strong view. It's difficult to tell from way up here, but it did look like he nudged him in the back.
Yeah, I think there was a play on. The only reason why I'm saying that, Rory and Al, is Simon Murray's reaction. He didn't go screaming, and you know he can be quite vocal when he feels hard done to, and it's just the flight of the ball. It looks as if it was clearing them. Proper gets himself wrong side, don't get me wrong. If it's a better ball, Murray probably scores.
It was Yilmaz actually who made the contact, but regardless, nothing given in the end. But Dundee still leading by a goal to nil. They have a throw-in over on the far side. Adewumi with the only goal of the game so far with 21 played. Rangers without a shot on target as yet, as Murray picks up on the edge of the Rangers penalty, and now it's Adewumi, challenged well by Proper on that occasion, but Adewumi gets a toe to the ball and pokes it to Ingram left-hand side. Back now with Donnelly, who's making his first start on his return to Dundee, having signed a 3.5-year deal just yesterday, and given that starting berth as Tiffany was fouled. Referee thought about trying to play an advantage, and Jefte's going to get a talking to here for the challenge from behind, and a yellow card in fact for the Rangers left back. And Dundee will have a free kick midway inside the Rangers half, and an opportunity again to put the ball into the Rangers box.
Yeah, Jefte was late there. It's difficult again to tell from here whether he does actually catch him on the ankle, but he was certainly late and probably a justified booking. But you know, one ball in from Dundee causes so much panic in the box. Yilmaz is watching Simon Murray run beyond him. Proper has no idea where he is. He's behind Proper, and it's that little bit of panic from Yilmaz. Obviously not a penalty, but you know, it's not difficult to panic the Rangers back line now.
Tiffany with the free kick then, headed away by Igman, back there doing the defending. Garza gets it to the left-hand side. Donnelly, first time ball in. Murray's going to try and get on the end of that. Out comes Liam Kelly to grasp it just before it fell for Murray, and still just 1-0 Dundee, but Rangers certainly look vulnerable when the ball comes into their defensive third. As Nsiala plays it square for Proper, and now out to the right-hand side to Yilmaz. Quarter of the game gone. Dundee 1, Rangers 0. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. As Rangers desperately trying to narrow the gap by 3 points once more on leader Celtic. But at the moment, the gap would stay at 16, and Dundee would leapfrog St Mirren and Hibs in the league if they were able to hold on to a victory, moving to 6th place. As Proper finds Czerny, right hand side. Czerny about 10 yards inside the Dundee half, goes back the way to Proper. Dundee getting plenty of men behind the ball when Rangers are in possession. Out it goes to Jeffrey, left hand side. Early ball for Eagman, tries to play it forward. It was half blocked. Eagman claimed for a handball but nothing given, and Mulligan picks up and drives forward and finds Tiffany almost in the halfway line. Back now with Clark Robertson. That's a lot of experience and composure, that Dundee backline, particularly in the absence of the likes of Shaughnessy and other experienced players Dundee are missing at the back. Rangers pick up once more, and it's Bayrami infield for Jefte. And now Hadji with the switch of play on the halfway line to Yilmaz, coming forward on the right hand side. Squared up by Adewumi, infield to Barron. Barron out to the right again to Czerny this time. Nudges it infield, it breaks kindly for Yilmaz from Diamondi. Yilmaz felt he was fouled on the edge of the box, nothing given as Murray picks up left hand side for Dundee, and now Garza for Tiffany in the centre circle. Shuffles it out to the right hand side now to Josh Mulligan, always a willing runner. Coming forward up towards the edge of the penalty area, back infield to Tiffany, tries to find Mulligan again. Mulligan's done well, half blocked there by Nsiala, and that allows Liam Kelly to collect. Good defending in the end from Nsiala, but terrific, powerful play down the right hand side by Mulligan.
Yeah, it was, and it was really good play from Dundee all round. They worked the ball really well. Simon Murray holds it up, comes in the pitch, and they work it out the other side. Mulligan's having a rich vein of form at the moment, up and down that right hand side. He's been really, really good over the past few weeks, and I'll say it again, Rangers might have more of the ball, but Dundee are the better team.
Once Dundee go forward, you fear every time, because they're playing counter-attack football and it's working a treat. When they nick it, if they can get a couple of quick passes, find the right pass, they've got the players to be direct and get right at Rangers.
Rangers have it once more, 25 played, trailing by a goal to nil. A goal came on 6 minutes. Adewumi, the goal scorer, as Yilmaz leaves it here on the right hand side for Czerny. Czerny forward in for Yilmaz. First time ball into the box, isn't a bad one. Clark Robertson though able to clear from the edge of the 6 yard box, and out of play on this near side, the Rangers right for a throw into the visitors.
That's what Rangers have got to do all the time. See that switchy play you're talking about against another back three. If they can get their full back and their wide player high early, Dundee can't adjust. It doesn't matter what they do, they'll just make a quick pass and put a cross in. But again, time and time again, they take their time. That's the first time they've really done it quickly, got the 2 against the 1 and got a cross in the box.
It doesn't help. I mean, that was not a bad cross from Yilmaz on his right foot, but naturally he's wanting to play it on his left, and that's not conducive really to the early cross, is it?
No, it's not. If you would think you just take a touch and whip it in right, but when you have to cut back and you're left, it lets the Dundee defence readjust.
Rangers have it left hand side, and it's Hadji, and now Bayrami tries a shot. It takes a big deflection. Diamondi is going to chase that right hand side of the box now, picks up possession, tries to get it back across goal, away by Donnelly though, and Murray and Barron both miss it, and instead Proper heads it to Czerny right hand side. 27 played, and Yilmaz takes his eye off the ball, and it's just rolled under his boot and out for a throw into Dundee, and if anything typifies Rangers night, perhaps Rangers season, it's that.
Yeah, I don't want to be too critical of Yilmaz, because I think he's done fantastically well at right back, and he's one that I think will run all day and give everything for the team, so it's a mistake. It goes out the pitch, it just doesn't look very good because it's such a basic error. Rangers are really struggling, sitting on -2 as it stands for the goal difference away from home. That is shocking.
It certainly is. As I mentioned earlier, just 3 wins from their opening 10 away games. This their 11th, and they don't want that figure to remain at 3 this evening, but for the moment it looks like it will. Plenty of time remaining though, just over an hour left as Jefty picks up left hand side into Igman, who's dropped well off the front to pick up possession. Now it's Barron to the right hand side, and it's Cherny midway inside Dundee territory, comes infield, plays it into the feet of Bayrami, then gets it back and plays it to Jefty, left hand side of the penalty area. Initial cross comes off a Dundee player, still it's Jefty though in possession. Bayrami also on the left hand side, Cherny in support. Here is Cherny midway inside the home side's half. Now it's Bayrami infield to Diamondi. He couldn't make anything of it, couldn't bring it under control. Rangers work it back into the penalty area, but it's nodded back to Trevor Carson quite comfortably, and the Dundee goalkeeper takes a moment or two, then gathers it in. 28.5 minutes played. It's Dundee 1, Rangers 0.
Yeah, some of Rangers plays pretty on the eye. It's, you know, it's nice enough, but it's not really been that effective. Hadji's starting to come in the pitch now to let Jefty run up that left hand side, and Iggaman's getting a little bit frustrated coming towards the ball, and you know, they're trying to get it in the box and play that quicker cross into the box, but it's not really happening for them at the moment. Good defending by Dundee.
Here's Bayrami, halfway line. Just plays it square to Barron. Yilmaz and Cherny in and around him. Here's Cherny, plays it forward for Yilmaz, back to Barron, right hand side, crossing opportunity, decides against it though, plays a short ball instead to Bayrami, and now it's Yilmaz, 25 yards from goal. Now Diamondi for Cherny, right hand side of the box, trying to get them away from Adewumi, plays it infield, but it's knocked away by Donnelly. Indeed, very well organised at the back just at the moment, belying that poor defensive record they have, as Rory said, just one clean sheet all season, but looking to double that this evening as Yilmaz prepares to take a throw in near side, midway inside the Dundee half. Finds Barron down the right, plays the ball into the box. Igman, the only man in there, and it's knocked away before he can get anywhere near it by Astley. Rangers throw in quickly taken. Yilmaz to Cherny, half an hour in, Dundee leading by a goal to nil. And Ciala, the debutant, plays it out to the left hand side, and Hadji then plays it back to the Frenchman, square for Proper on the halfway line, tries the diagonal up to the edge of the penalty area for Bayrami. Dundee again deal with it pretty comfortably, just thump it clear out of play on the far side. The Rangers left, throw in quickly taken. Rangers keen to get a move on, but things not going their way just at the moment, that's for sure.
They've got the possession right, they've got the pace and the tempo of the game right, they just haven't got the quality right when it comes to that final third, and there you go, right on. Just like Yilmaz out on this side, now they're getting frustrated. It's a simple ball from Nisiala out to Jefty, goes to take a touch and straight at the pitch, so it's getting frustrating. They are trying to play the game properly, like the right tempo. I know they've not defended well, we've touched on that, but they're getting the movement, they're getting the passing, they're getting the pace of the game. They just need to mix it up a bit better. Am I right in saying that, Rory, where sometimes the wide area just put a cross in, and then sometimes just play that killer quality final pass, but none of that so far for Rangers. Carson hasn't had a shot to save.
No, he hasn't, and Dundee have got so many bodies in the middle area of the pitch, and obviously across the 18-yard box, that the wider areas are key.
Here's Ingram coming forward for Dundee, a relatively rare venture forward for them, and it's Mulligan now to the right hand side for Tiffany, right hand side of the penalty area, comes in field away from Diamondi there, and it breaks back to the right hand side for Garza, who puts it into the box. Hadji's there to knock it clear. Igman's been very quiet, very little service, it has to be said, but what he has had, he hasn't done much with in these early stages. Hadji just knocks the ball over the head of his opponent, but can't keep a hold of it, can't find a teammate, and it's picked up by Murray, who plays it off Hadji and buys his side, a throw-in over on the far side, midway inside the Rangers half on the Dundee right. 32 on the clock, Dundee 1, Rangers 0.
Yeah, Dundee are very comfortable. As I've said, Rangers have played some nice stuff, but they haven't hurt Dundee. Dundee have hurt Rangers, even though they've only been up the pitch a couple of times.
Murray on the right hand side tries to play it back for Mulligan. Hadji in the way, but he knocks it out of play, and Dundee will have a throw in far side, pretty much in line with the edge of the penalty area, and looks like they'll try another long throw in here.
Here's another shell coming in, yes.
That's 3 times though the ball has been miscontrolled and put out the pitch. You know, at this level of football, I don't care who you are, it can happen, but it shouldn't happen 3 times in the one half.
In the space of a few minutes. Here's the long throw in coming from the right hand side then. Robertson looks to go and attack it. Jefty wins it above him though. Comes back out to the right hand side to Astley. Astley down the right for Tiffany. Bayrami's with him, almost at the corner flag. Tiffany tried to play it off the Albanian. Bayrami though able to bring it under control. Did he knock it out of play there? No, the assistant, who was right next to the action, signals that it stayed in play initially, then it came off Tiffany and went behind for a goal kick, which is already taken proper. Invites some pressure on him there from Adewumi. Then Yilmaz has misplaced the pass. It's Adewumi picking up. Now it's Tiffany, 20 yards from goal. Challenge comes in from Diamonte. Murray hits the deck from a challenge from Nsiala. Dundee howl for a penalty. Murray's still in the deck. Not sure about that claim for Rangers. Come out the other end. It's Egeman. Can he slip it to Czerny? Not yet. Still he has the chance. Czerny with the chance for the equaliser. Has to take it wide, but he scored! Rangers level on the counter-attack as Dundee protest. They should have had a penalty at the other end. Rangers didn't hang about. They burst forward. And even though it looked the chance had gone, Egeman forced it through for Czerny, who took it wide but blasted through the legs of Trevor Carson. It's Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Yeah, it's not a penalty for me, Al. I think he goes down far too easily. He's waiting on the contact. Take nothing away from Rangers, though. It's the first time Dundee have been exposed and Rangers took full advantage, and that's the quality they do have and can have. Egemani rides one tackle, plays in Czerny, takes a heavy touch, gets the angle. I think it goes through Carson's legs, and it's one apiece.
Yeah, he kind of runs into the Rangers defender, doesn't he, Simon Murray, and then, but I'll tell you what, take nothing away. We've said they look vulnerable, the goalkeepers look vulnerable. He takes it brilliantly. He slams a kick to Hadji, who takes a brilliant touch, rolls it to Egeman, and you think he could go through 1-on-1. He gets the break in the ball, he rolls it to Czerny, he kind of drags on his right foot. You think the chance is gone, and he just blasts it straight through Trevor Carson at the near post to equalise. A well taken goal, well worked.
Goal is confirmed, incidentally. That was all checked by the VAR, Greg Aitken, and he has confirmed the on-field decision of a Rangers equaliser. So 10 minutes until the break, and Rangers have their leveller with their, as far as I can remember, first shot on target, and as Rory said, pretty much went through the legs at the near post of Trevor Carson. It looked like Czerny had probably taken it too far wide, but he still got the shot away after Egeman forced the ball through to him. That's a strong challenge in there by Garza. The referee lets it go. Here's Silla now picking up possession. Egeman working back, and then he knocks Silla to the ground, and that'll be a Dundee free kick about 30 yards from a Rangers goal. And it's all getting very feisty out there, 1-1.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I actually enjoy that. You know, a couple of good tackles going in there, meaty challenges, players getting up and getting on with it, and it was a foul. It was a foul in the end.
Good on a cold night, yeah.
It was.
Bring it on.
Heat us up a bit, but Garza's initial challenge was fantastic in the middle of the pitch. He was a warrior in there, and he does well to win it back. Can't help going back to the goal. If Simon Murray just concentrates on the ball and trying to score a goal, rather than looking at the defender waiting to go down and trying to buy a penalty, then, you know, cause him a little bit more issues. But he's got a chance here to try and rectify it. He'll be standing over the ball.
I thought he would turn his back and try and shield it, Murray, but take nothing away from Kelly. It was a brilliant kick to Hadji that set up the attack. Here's a chance for Dundee, though.
Sure is.
Said out.
It's Simon Murray then, just under 30 yards.
I wouldn't have had him down as a 30-yard free kick specialist, right enough.
Well, let's see if you're right in that judgment or otherwise, as he lines this one up. The wall's just a couple of yards inside the box of what we say, remember, 26 yards then from goal, as Simon Murray takes a nick off the wall and behind for a Dundee corner. Might well have been goal bound, but for that touch off the Rangers wall, we'll never know. But Dundee will have the corner. We might know if it's part of the highlights on Sports Scene tonight, right enough. Tune in for that. Couple of goals already, and you wouldn't bet against any more, as Tiffany prepares to take the corner kick from the left-hand side. Dundee looking to get their noses back in front before half-time. Tiffany stands that one up to the back post, attacked by Nsiala, who's done pretty well in his debut so far. Now Donnelly trying to keep the pressure on the Rangers back line, but Dundee now going all the way back to Trevor Carson. Mo Silla wasn't sure he'd put enough on that back pass and started chasing it himself, just in case Bayrami got there ahead of him, but there was enough on it, and Trevor Carson able to clear his lines. Here's Egeman, right-hand side, back to Yilmaz. Rangers, you would think, will begin to just settle down about having got themselves level. Again, it's Yilmaz with a terrible 3-yard pass to Czerny, and he manages to knock it straight out of play. And he's not having his best night, having a adapted well to the right back position for the most part, but not quite on the ball tonight.
No, it wasn't, but you know, you touched on Enciala. You know, it could have been very easy to crumble after conceding that early goal, but that touch, he plucked one out the air there from a big boot up the pitch from Carson and played a pass under pressure into the midfield. He's done really well.
Here's Tiffany though at the edge of the Rangers box. Murray takes it on, Barron claimed for handball, Enciala thumps it clear. Don't think it was a handball, but Dundee will claim anyway. But I think it came off Barron's midriff almost as it tried to evade him.
It's how easy it is and how vulnerable they still look. I mean, it's just a long throw in. Simon Murray knocks it in the pitch. Scott Tiffany's onto it. He drives at the defence. He nearly gets through them. He just hitting it and running, and it just comes up off Barron. They're having a check at it, and eventually it goes out for a throw in. But it was a good direct play from Dundee that had Rangers in trouble.
Yeah, certainly had them worried for a moment as Dundee have a throw in over on the far side. You've got 6 minutes left, plus any stoppage time in this first period, as Dundee come forward. 1-1 it stands. Rangers drawing themselves level just a few minutes ago through Václav Černy's 11th goal of the season, his 8th in the league, set up by Hamza Igman. As here is Yilmaz up to the halfway line on the right hand side, backed away now to Robin Proper, just about 20 yards inside his own half. Big switch out to Jefty, who's all alone on that left hand side until Tiffany intercedes and nods the ball down, but only to Jefty. And it's Barron back to Enciala, 20 yards inside his own half. Square for Proper. Proper looks up and then tries the ball over the top. It's a poor one though from the Dutchman. Yilmaz never going to catch that one, and it bounces behind for a Dundee goal kick to be taken by Trevor Carson.
Really poor there from Proper. You know, he's got to read the situation better. Yilmaz on his weaker foot, he'd be running onto that under pressure from two Dundee defenders, but the pass is way overhit anyway.
Here's Silla doing well against Igman and Diamonde. Adewumi though has overrun it. Rangers have it back. Diamonde now down the right hand side for Černy. Černy advancing up towards the angle of the box, into the box now, but he just couldn't keep control of the ball and Donnelly robs him, and although he's closed down by Diamonde, the ball's behind for another goal kick to Dundee. Černy complaining that he was foul, but it didn't seem to just look like he'd run into Donnelly. It was well challenged, and Dundee have the goal kick. 1-1.
Yeah, he overran it. He was direct, don't get me wrong, but I mean they've not really tested that Dundee defence. It was just that counter-attack that caught Dundee out. Brilliant kick from Kelly, as I said. Hadji touch, Eagleman pass, Černy finishes. Apart from that, they've forced a few. Rory's talking about Proper there. Yeah, straight ball's never going to beat a back three, back five. It's got to be that diagonal we're talking about as well. So they've got level, you can see they all want a bit more of the ball now, but it's been a frustrating first half for Rangers, and Dundee, they'll be kicking themselves at their level now.
4 minutes until the interval. One apiece it stands as Donnelly takes the throw in from the halfway line down the left, flicked on by Murray but away by Barron. Eagleman goes down clutching his face. Play is stopped, and the free kick goes to Rangers for that challenge that came in on Hamza Eagleman.
Didn't see much wrong with it, to be honest. Oh, I don't know why he's almost holding his face before the challenge came in. I thought it was a good header.
Free kick given, and Rangers have it through Proper on the halfway line. Just advancing a few yards, then fires it out to the left hand side. Hadji and Jefty both out there, but one initially by Silla, breaks for Bayrami left hand side, plays it back infield to Barron. Barron looking to find the feet of Eagleman, but again Silla stretches out the right leg, intercepts, and then Garza's taken down, and Dundee will now have a free kick midway inside their own half, and it'll be a chance for them to move up the park. 3 minutes to play in this first period. Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Try to force it again, aren't they?
Yeah.
That through narrow through the middle of that Dundee defence, just not happening. They just have to make sure when they hit the diagonal, it doesn't have to be a proper like 60-yard laser or Jefty switching it. It just has to be, it can be a switchy play where you have 3 or 4 passes in it that gets out there nice and quickly, but seem to be forcing it in the last few minutes, Rangers.
Eagleman holding his face again from the challenge of Clark Robertson. It seemed to be a very similar challenge, and I have to agree with Rory, there didn't look to be much wrong with the first one nor that one. but the referee hasn't given anything second time around, so
getting wise to it, I think.
yeah, possibly that. It's going to be a throw-in to Dundee on the halfway line with just a couple of minutes left in this first half. 1-1 it stands as Proper gets his head to the throw-in. Hadji doesn't make an attempt to play it, and Dundee will try and latch on through Garza, the young Mexican making his first start for Dundee tonight. Tiffany up against Jefty. Brazilian gets the better of Tiffany, and the ball lashed off the winger eventually, and it'll be out for a Rangers throw-in midway inside their own half. Far side.
He's played well, Garza, so far. He's won the ball back a few times in his own half, really meaty challenges, and then he knows his job. You pass it on to the likes of Tiffany, Adewumi, who can go and make things happen. He's been very efficient.
Yeah, on loan from Monterrey in his homeland, I think with a view to that becoming permanent, as Jefty tries to find Igman just in his own half outside the centre circle. Lovely control and skill from the Moroccan, but then he pokes the ball straight at Garza, and it breaks for Diamondi just inside his own half. Out to the right hand side for Yilmaz now. Yilmaz infield to Bayrami. Bayrami gets on the turn and out to Cherny, right hand side. Rangers looking to go in front before half time. Diamondi now threads it in for Igman. Tried to take a touch inside the penalty area. Robertson was able to take it off his toes and find Murray, who's back in a deep area. He plays it off Cherny, and it's out for a throw-in deep in Dundee's own half, down near the corner flag, but it is a Dundee throw-in in the final minute of the 45.
Yeah, it's just the final bit and passages of play like that from Rangers, because they've worked the ball, as Billy's touched on, really well at times, and they've moved it around well, but it's that final bit, it just seems to fall flat, and Dundee are quite happy for them to pass it around in front of them. But they're struggling to get in behind them, other than that one time where Dundee were exposed because they committed so many men forward.
Flicked on by Ingram from the throw-in, and then Murray gets the better of Diamondi. Tiffany and then Adewumi take up the charge, and now it's Murray once more, steps away from Proper all too easily. The pass intended for Mulligan is intercepted by Jefty, who now powers forward. Garza trying to stick with him. Back infield it comes to Bayrami into the Dundee half. The fourth official shows there'll be a minute added on at the end of this one as Rangers come forward looking for an injury time goal. Yilmaz back to Cherny. Cherny into the feet of Bayrami, who flicks it out to the right hand side. Another poor attempt at a pass from a Rangers player. This time Bayrami couldn't find Yilmaz. Out for a throw in front of Tony Docherty's technical area. Just about 40 seconds left of stoppage time, and it's still Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
How many first passes is that now, Roddy?
Unforced errors are off the charts.
Yeah, they certainly are. It's Dundee throw-in then to be taken by Donnelly, midway inside his own half, left hand side, as Dundee come forward. Donnelly hurls it over the halfway line, flicked on by Ingram, returned by Proper, but again out of play. Another Dundee throw-in. Last few seconds of this first period have been pretty enthralling in their own way, but one apiece it stands, and that's how it looks like it's going to be when the half-time whistle sounds just shortly. The referee getting urging Aaron Donnelly to get a move on, but there is the half-time whistle, and Dundee, having led for a large chunk of that first period, will be frustrated that they weren't able to hold on to it until half-time. They went in front early on, 6 minutes in, when Rangers just could not clear their lines, and when Josh Mulligan eventually was on the goal line, he was able to pull it back into a dangerous area, and Oluwaseun Adeyemi, all on his own, about 8 yards out, lashed it towards the goal and past Liam Kelly for the opener. Rangers had so much possession, but really weren't troubling Trevor Carson until 34 minutes. One end, Dundee claimed for a penalty as Simon Murray hit the deck inside the box. Rangers didn't hang around as Liam Kelly fired it forward for Hadji, who in turn played it on to Hamza Igman. It looked like he hadn't been able to get the ball through to Thomas Cherny initially, but he battled away, eventually poked it through to the Czech, who in turn looked like he'd taken it too far wide to get a shot off, but he proved me wrong by firing it in at the near post through the legs of Trevor Carson for the Rangers equaliser. And that's how it stands at the interval. Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
What a goal!
On BBC iPlayer and Sounds.
When I was young, I was ferocious.
A new documentary and podcast look at the life and career of Sir Alex Ferguson.
I think he's the best manager of all time.
Everything he touched was successful.
That passion and desire to win.
Just how did a boy from Govan go on to become one of the most iconic managers in the game?
We don't only build boats on the Clyde.
He controlled everything. Ferguson was every department.
The minute I entered into it at 32 years of age, I couldn't fail.
The story of one of football's true sporting giants. Sir Alex. Watch on iPlayer. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, that is definitely worth having a look at. Wonderful look into a remarkable career. You get that on the iPlayer. Sporting highlights tonight of this game at Dens Park. 10:40 on the BBC Scotland channel. 1-1 is it is at half-time. Tomorrow night, again on the BBC Scotland channel, Sporting Live, the Championship, Hamilton against Partick Thistle. And then, of course, across the weekend, full coverage of all the action of the matches that will be taking place. A few changes in the Championship because of the really severe weather right now. 3 of the 4 games planned for Saturday have been moved. Greenock Morton against Wraith Rovers, they're hoping to play that on Sunday, the 12th. And the 2 other games, the Fermanagh United, Livingston Airdronians, both now down for Tuesday the 14th. The only game scheduled to take place on Saturday is Falkirk against Queen's Park. A couple of inspections already announced in Leagues 1 and 2 at Annan and at Stirling Albion. You can be guaranteed there will be more over the course of the next 12 to 18 hours, I think, being announced, and there could be quite a few casualties when the fixture list is finally up and running on Saturday and Sunday. Full coverage, of course, here on Sports Sound both days. Ross County Celtic, the early kick-off on Saturday. It's Hibernian, Motherwell and St Mirren against Dundee United. And then a double bill of action, at least, in the Premiership on Sunday. Both 3 o'clock kick-offs, Aberdeen Hearts and Rangers against St Johnstone. Rangers in action tonight. It is 1-1 at half-time. Is that, Rory Loy, a fair reflection of the opening 45?
No, I think Dundee were good for their 1-0 lead. Rangers played some nice stuff, but didn't really create any chances. We've just been sent the Rangers goal, and I have to say, first and foremost, I was too critical of Simon Murray. Having seen it up close on a replay, he is looking at the ball the full time. I'm still not sure if it's enough.
Rory, I must admit, my instant reaction, having seen a couple of replays, was no penalty, but like you, have been sent a clip and had the chance to look at it again. What I hadn't noticed initially was that Nsiala stands on his foot as he comes in to make the challenge.
He does, but I still don't.
You don't think that's a penalty?
No, I don't. I think you could maybe build a case for both, but if you're going to put me on the spot, no, I don't. I think they're both looking at the ball. No, I don't.
Accidental doesn't matter, though, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's accidental or not. I just don't think it's enough for a penalty, in my opinion. Yes, the front of his boot catches the top of his foot. I still don't think it's enough to warrant a penalty in that situation.
Okay. Billy, if that's opinion. You as a striker in that position, and the defender,
didn't say if it was me, Richard.
Stands...
If it was me, it was a penalty.
And the defender stands on your foot as you're both going for the ball.
We've had many a discussion in this programme what you do as a forward player. There's no doubt he catches him. It's not intentional. You have seen them given, but I'm kind of edging it's like more a clumsy one than anything, and I know that still means it's a penalty. Listen, I would, if a striker, I'm hitting the deck and I'm seeing if I'm getting it. I've seen them given, but I can understand why the ref and the VAR have looked at it and waited.
I'm assuming that VAR have looked at that and they have noticed, because I didn't notice initially that he'd stood on his foot. It was only when it was pointed out to me. Anyway, they had a look. They've said no, fine. And Rangers did. I mean, for the one and only time in the game, they capitalised on the moment, didn't they?
They did, and that's why I'm saying I think Dundee were good for a 1-0 lead going in at half-time, and Tony Dockett will be kicking himself because maybe they got a little bit too excited at that point and committed one too many men forward, forgot the game plan for a moment, and Rangers took full advantage of it. It was an unbelievable ball from Liam Kelly out to Hadji, who plays the ball in the pitch, and Cherny ends up sticking it in the net. But It will be a talking point after the game, that incident with Simon Murray. As I said, I think you could build a case for both. So, you know, if it was given, it's not outrageous. I don't think it's outrageous that it's not given either. So I think it's not clear and obvious, and that's probably why it wasn't overturned.
We talked beforehand about Rangers and this poor away record. For the largest part of that first half, it looked like it was continuing, and obviously they're looking to win this game. So I mean, I guess a draw would just simply see a continuation of what has been poor form. But I mean, I suppose it's kind of been the away season in microcosm almost this evening, Billy.
There's no doubt. I'm with you when you're saying those words, and I'm thinking this just sums up Rangers' season, this game, and in terms of how they lost the goal, how they weren't doing the right things. They were playing the game at the right pace. I'll give them that. I've seen them play earlier in the season, Richard, where slow, pedestrian, going to proper, turning back, rolling it back the way, getting booed. There's something dropped. The pennies dropped about how quickly they have to play. And although they lose the goal, we've talked about the vulnerability of that back line. Are they going to keep a clean sheet? Well, the answer's no. But going forward, they've moved the ball well. They've just made the wrong decisions. They're trying to force things through the middle. When they have switched it nice and quickly, and Dundee can't adjust because they have to get people out in wide areas, or it's a 2v1 for Rangers, then Rangers have looked better, but the crosses haven't been great, and the final pass hasn't been great. They always get themselves into a situation, Rangers, where they have a switch off, they lose a goal, and then they're chasing the game.
Hadji and Cherny, they're not the most direct in terms of they don't want to take a touch and whip it in the box or go by a man. Cherny wants to come inside and chop, and he's excellent at it, he really is. I just wonder whether somebody more direct, a Matondo or a Cortez, maybe come on in the second half, so that, you know, when you do get that switch of play, you take that touch forward, you whip it into the box, and, you know, you change Dundee's problems at the back, because right now they're very comfortable other than that one counter-attack.
That's what I'm saying though, Rory. Why would you not do it consistently, like especially against a back three like they were against Hibs, right? And how did they get their goals against Hibs? Think of every goal. Crosses in the box, the left foot finish, the header, the right foot finish, and suddenly for some reason tonight they've thought about crossing. I will not cross it this time, we'll make another couple of passes, then we'll try and force one, or we'll hit a straight pass.
And that's when, as a striker, you get frustrated, start coming towards the ball, and then the ball's flashed across a couple of times and no one's been there.
They need to just simplify it a little bit. Yeah, play at the right pace, just get it wide and get the ball in the box. If they head it clear, so be it. Just do the same again, and the quicker you do it, Dundee won't be able to adjust, and you'll end up getting something. Eagleman's movement, as you saw at Easter Road, is brilliant, but he's had nothing to go off tonight, nothing to get on the end of, and that's because they've been delaying it or trying to force it through the middle.
There was one stat that was flashed up, it was fairly early on, I think about 17-18 minutes in. Rangers at that point had 81% possession, but Dundee had 7 shots on goal and Rangers just the 1. I mean, that too tells you a story, doesn't it, in terms of what Rangers were doing at that stage of the game, at least?
I mean, it doesn't, because at that stage of the game...
Would you not rather have 7 shots on goal at that point than 1?
Oh well, sorry, from Dundee's point of view...
Yeah, it's just exactly what you were saying, Rory. Dundee looked the most threatening, although Rangers...
In terms of Dundee, brilliant. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Rangers having 81%. That type of idea. You know, and Philip Clement, if they don't take 3 points tonight, will spin that some way. But yeah, I mean, that was the game plan, and I think that Tony Docherty's watched the game against Hibs, where Hibs, let's be honest, they committed their wing backs, their full backs far too far forward, and Rangers picked them off. And after 2-0 they went, do you know what, you two need to stay back because we're going to go 3-4-0 down here. And Rangers didn't have any answers after that. Yes, Ingamani scores in the second half, but Hibs were the better side after that, and Dundee have just taken a note out their copybook. You know, they've kept their 2 wide men back the pitch, been solid when they've had to, and they know that when they go forward they can hurt Rangers. They've played better football than Rangers in terms of being actually more proactive in creating opportunities and creating chances.
Safe to say, Rich, you're right in terms of they had all the possession. Dundee looked the most threatening, and it comes no surprise that Rangers scored with their first shot on target, wasn't it, when Cherny gets in on the right hand side, and that's their first real effort on target and they score. So yeah, there was no doubt Rangers had the bulk of the game, but Dundee looked the most threatening team because they were playing counter-attack football.
It is finely balanced right now. The boys both absolutely right. They said beforehand there will be goals in this game. We've seen a couple. It would be a major surprise if there were not more. in the second half. So the players will be back out again in a few minutes' time. Second half coming up live. Let's just look at the team currently bottom of the Scottish Premiership after a terrible run. St Johnstone now 8 points adrift at the foot of the table, and that is having a bearing on the manager, Simo Valakari, saying it is certainly affecting his ability to bring players in during the January transfer window.
I can only talk about our club. We have been working so hard before the transfer window to finalize the players, get them in. And then when happened this festive period and we end up in the position where we are, many things didn't come out. And I don't blame the players because they feel they have one career, they feel their reputation. Plus, I have to say, you need to be a tough guy to play in this position. You need to be a very tough guy in this position. So maybe to see the silver lining as well, if you were not ready to take this fight, you were not the right player to come to our club. So however it is, but definitely, yes, it's hard.
You can understand it, Billy, can't you? I mean, a player is obviously going to take a close look at the league table and the prospects of the team. And let's be honest, no one is moving to St Johnstone to become rich, it has to be said. So that they're not going to be able to offer the kind of financial inducement that would make them overlook, perhaps, the position of the club. You
have to work doubly hard, maybe even treble hard, and to get players to go there. No disrespect, St Johnstone, to sell them and to come to Perth and be at a club that has maybe 3,000 at the games, and then you throw in the bottom of the league by 8 points. It's a hard sell, but you've got to keep grafting. That's your job. There'll be somebody bite at it, and you heard Simo Valakari there saying he has to have the right temperament, he has to be a fighter. We want players to come here and change the narrative, change the mindset and try and get us out of this trouble. So it's difficult. He's probably, you usually maybe get 4 knockbacks before you get one. He might be getting 7 or 8 knockbacks before he gets one, Richard, but you've just got to keep going at it, because if you poach 2, it might just change it for you. But there's no doubt St Johnstone are in needy players. They're in need of the players that are going to really scrap and battle and try and dig them out that situation.
It's a side of the game that the fans just simply, by necessity, aren't aware of. You
don't see, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're all going, come on, we need new players in. You need a striker, you need a centre half, you need a right back. The managers are battling so hard behind the scenes to do that very thing. So if we as fans can see what a team is lacking, the manager can see it. But he's the one who has to get the deal over the line, or his director of football, or whoever it is who's doing that side of things.
Absolutely. So much to deal with. You've got to identify your positions, as you say, then identify your players. It might be 2 or 3 for every position. Then you've got to talk to them. Then you've got to beg with them and make them believe that this is the right move for them at this stage in their career. Then you think you've got them over the line and they change their mind. It's demoralising at times. But as I say, it's his job. He's got to keep on looking at the market to see if he can get 1 or 2 to bite, because it might just be the thing that changes it, and players gain confidence. Other players just go with the new players if they have the right determination, right mindset for the scrap, and sometimes that just takes players with them and things change. But it's a tough gig, I'll tell you.
I mean, they would not be the first team to survive having overcome that kind of deficit, but it does look like a very, very tough shift right now for St Johnstone. Teams are back out at Dens. Dundee against Rangers, 1-1 at half-time. It's a live second half commentary with Billy, with Rory Loy and with Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Rich. One of the guys, can't remember who it was it Billy? Rory called it at half-time. Ravi Matondo is coming on for Yanis Hadji at the start of the second half, so good shout, Rory.
Surely tactical. I don't think Yanis Hadji's performed particularly poorly. I just think this is a game that suits Ravi Matondo more.
Well, we shall see. Rangers about to get us back underway, going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the old main stand here at Dens Park. And indeed, Jefte plays it back to Robin Proper, so Matondo taking Hadji's role on the left-hand side, the near side as we look at it. ahead of Jefty, who's in possession right now, and then switches it to Yilmaz. Is it another stray pass almost, but Yilmaz backpedals and gathers it. Connor Barron's taking a dreadful touch, and then Enciala tries a little flick as he almost was bailing Connor Barron out, because Silla had robbed him, but then Enciala get away with his little flick, and Rangers start the second half in not exactly the fashion I'm sure their manager wanted them to, but no harm done from that perspective. And here's Jefty left-hand side, picking up from Czerny, just inside the Dundee half. By Rami, back the way and infield to Barron. And Barron out to the left to Rabi Matondo. Let's see what he can do. Tries to take on Tiffany and loses out. Tiffany knocks it out of play. A minute played then at the start of the second half. Dundee 1, Rangers 1. As Barron plays it back to Enciala, who on the whole you'd have to say in the first half certainly acquitted himself pretty well on his Rangers debut.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's looked more comfortable than Robin Proper alongside him at 31.
And Proper losing out there to an Enciala having to make the challenge on Murray to dispossess him. Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you there either, Rory. Robin Proper still to convince at the heart of that Rangers defence, even though he is playing on his favoured right-hand side this evening. Still doesn't look entirely comfortable in the physicality of the Scottish game. Here on the right-hand side is Yilmaz looking to take on his man is Ethan Ingram, who did not come off last. Seems to have been Ingram. It'll be a Rangers corner. Right-hand side, second minute of this second period. Still 1-1, but Rangers here with an opportunity to put some pressure on the Dundee backline and get that second goal.
Yeah, he does well when he's direct, Yilmaz, but it shows you the troubles that they're having, because he does get half a yard on Ingram, and he could have crossed the ball with his right foot but chose not to.
And it comes from Czerny to the near post, and it was Proper who tried the little improvised back heel almost at the near post, but couldn't quite get it on target. It would have been some goal had that come off, but wide of Trevor Carson's goal. Dundee goal kick, 2.5 minutes gone in this second period. Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
It wasn't the greatest of corners. It was bounced before it even reached Robin Proper, but Robin Proper's got his head in his hands as if he should be doing better there. He actually did as well as you could have done with that little flick, because it was a difficult angle, but Rangers have started the second half relatively positively.
Yeah, again dominating the ball as they did do in that first half, but certainly in the first period they weren't able to penetrate as much as they would have wanted to. Let's see if they can change that with the introduction of Matondo as part of that in the second half. Tony Docherty again, like Philippe Clement, at the edge of his technical area, gesticulating, trying to get instructions on to his players, who performed well in the first half and will perhaps consider themselves slightly unfortunate not to have gone in with the 1-goal advantage. As Proper plays it back to Liam Kelly. Kelly quickly on to Enciala at the edge of the box. Forward it comes the 20-year-old Frenchman for Jefty. Jefty immediately for Matondo, but good challenge by Astley, and now Mulligan picks up and brings Dundee forward down the right-hand side. Plays it on to Tiffany, still right-hand side. Shows far too much of that to Barron, and Barron easily able to come forward. It's a good position Dundee got themselves into there, but Tiffany's poor touch meant that the attack came to nothing. And now it's Yilmaz on the other side, the Rangers right, coming forward. Igman now steps away from Garza up towards the edge of the penalty area, and Bayrami takes over right-hand side of the box, spins and then knocks it back the way to Diamondi, out to the right to Yilmaz. It's a heavy touch and allows Ethan Ingram though to dispossess him, and Ingram brings Dundee forward, still inside his own half, comes back the way now to Adewumi. Adewumi closed down, plays it square to Silla. A few players taking heavy touches out there tonight. I'm not sure if it's something to do with the surface is maybe just a little bit firmer than normal because of the very low temperatures. Mulligan gets it back to Ashley on the edge of his own penalty area, plays it up towards Tiffany. Jefty climbing all over Tiffany there, nothing given, play allowed to continue. And one of those ones was the defender climbing, or was the attacker not making an attempt to jump for the ball himself. Good footwork from Igman once more. Bayrami though can't replicate that, and it breaks back for Dundee in the shape of Baron Donnelly on the edge of his own penalty area. Plays it forward looking for Murray, but Proper's there first. Good tempo to the start of this second half. Everyone keen to keep warm, no doubt.
It's a bit bitty though, isn't it? Like Rangers have an opportunity and try to overdo it. Eagleman try to just a couple of step overs.
Plays for nutmegs at times, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and he gets some loads. But Dundee have the opportunity, and Tony Docherty wasn't happy, and rightly so, when Tiffany goes up the right hand side. Just put it in the box. You talked about the surface being tricky. I'll use it, but he doesn't. So wrong choices from both sets of players again.
Jeffy now, left hand side, midway inside the Dundee half. Up against Tiffany, comes in field. Tiffany's still with him, but it plays into Eagleman. Eagleman again with a slightly heavy touch. Silla able to win it back, but only momentarily as Diamondi picks it up and plays it out to the left. Matondo just able to keep it in at the corner flag. Back to Eagleman, left hand side, and now Bayrami at the angle of the box on the left. Leaves it to Diamondi, and now out to Matondo, left hand side once more. Can he take on Mulligan here? He plays it off Mulligan. It'll be another Rangers corner, near side, Rangers left. 6 minutes of the second half played. Still Dundee 1, Rangers 1. Rangers looking to build up a head of steam here as Bayrami comes across to take this corner kick. Cherny also coming across. He's offering himself short, but Bayrami swings it in near post. Eagleman looked to attack it, but it was well watched there by Ashley. Breaks for Cherny though, left hand side. But 30 yards from goal, into the feet of Eagleman. Just try and keep a hold of the ball. Good strength from the young Moroccan. Plays it off Tiffany in the end, and it will be a Rangers throw in about 25 yards from the corner flag as they attack down the left hand side. They go back the way to Jefty. Bayrami once more again to Jefty, and then onto the halfway line to Barron. Barron in the centre circle, steps away from Murray, then plays out to the right hand side for Cherny. Cherny, who's got Rangers level just before half time, tries to take Garza on the right hand side, comes off the Mexican and out for another Rangers corner at the start of this second half. 7 minutes gone in this second period. Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
It's definitely an instruction that Clement has passed to his team, because in the first half Cherny didn't do the line once, Billy, and the first couple of times he's got the ball in this half, he's tried to run the line and he's won a couple of corners.
Here he is then himself to take this one, curls it in, flicked on at the near post, and just over the top, came off a Dundee head. Last it was Eagleman at the near post who got the flick on, but it then came off a Dundee head on its way goalwards and behind for another Rangers corner, this time on the left hand side. It's a dangerous one, but still one apiece.
Yeah, it wasn't a brilliant corner, but it's whipped in with pace. Eagleman does well, gets front air and flicks it on, causes a bit of trouble.
Bayrami from the left end, also near post, looking for Eagleman, but it's headed away again well by Ashley. Garza back towards his own penalty area, but Mulligan helps it forward. Adewumi trying to pick up on the edge of the centre circle. Barron with him, and he's got done well here. Adewumi, the Dundee goal scorer, away from proper. Barron though sticks out a right leg and knocks it away. Dundee pick up once more, and Ingram leaves it to Silla just in the edge of the centre circle inside the Rangers half. Out to the right it goes to Tiffany. Mulligan in support, forward it goes to Mulligan, almost at the byline, tries to come inside of Bayrami, who does well to win that back and play it to Matondo, and now it's Cherny lets the ball run under his boot, but still he might get it. Now he's trying to take on Donnelly for pace. What's his pace like? Well, it's pretty good, I can tell you. He knocks it out of play for a throw into Rangers, quickly taken by Cherny into Eagleman, trying to work his way through a couple of challenges there. Still he has it. Eagleman forces it into the 6-yard box, away by Tiffany. It's been a pretty positive start to this second half by the visiting side.
Yeah, they're making the right decisions now, and as Rory touched on, Philip Clement's told them, just get it wide and get crossed in the box. We'll get something, we'll get joy. Whereas Dundee, a couple of times, and I see Tony Docherty again, not happy. Chance Mulligan to put it in the box, he delays, and Rangers nick it and get up the park. So Dundee not doing what they should be doing, just asking the question, and Rangers capitalising.
Cherny to the left hand side to Jefty. Jefty forward for Matondo. Matondo trying to step away from Mulligan, just slips, but Bayrami takes over. Then tries to play it inside Tiffany. Jefty, first time ball in, comes all the way across to Cherny. Cherny with a shot, great save. Cherny once more in the rebound, slices it, and it doesn't hit the target on that occasion, but a great save from Carson to deny Cherny, and then Jefty knocks it behind for a goal kick. And it remains, after a terrific Carson save, Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
What a wonderful ball through. It was Bajrami, I think, wasn't it, Al? It was a magnificent ball, well weighted into Jefty. They don't have the numbers in the box, though. In that situation there, you've got Eggman to be attacking that. It comes to Cherny at the back post. It's a good shot. It's a really good save by Carson. He gets down quickly and gets down well, and Cherny can't quite catch the second bite at the cherry, but you know, what it brings when you're, you know, if you get the ball and you run at defenders, you win throw-ins high up the pitch, you win corners, it brings a lot of consistent pressure, and that pressure, you'd like to think, if you did it the full half, would tell eventually. So Dundee maybe need to think about how they're going to approach this second half.
Wide areas, cross, nice pass, yeah, good run by Jefty, across, and then it eventually breaks to Tierney, and you're right, it's a really good save from Carson. It come through bodies, he saw it late, but you can see where Rangers are identifying how they'll hurt Dundee.
It's a Rangers throw-in. It was a contentious decision, that one. I don't think either the referee or assistant really knew whose ball it was, and when the flag eventually went Rangers' way, the Dundee fans weren't happy, and the ball switched from right to left to allow Jefty to power forward away from Tiffany. Out to the left it goes, but he's played it behind Matondo and out of play. Sometimes Brazilian is just going too fast and he's not able to slow himself down to execute the pass properly. 8,606 inside Dens Park watching this one, where it stands Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
How many now, Rory? Unforced errors.
I know, I mean, again, no one's ever had a bad game from the stand, Billy, but at the same time, those types of things are things that I would have been criticised for at under 19 level, passing the ball out the pitch under no pressure, 5-yard pass.
Tiffany's done just more or less exactly the same, hooking it over his shoulder and out of play for a Rangers throw-in midway inside their own half. We've played 56 minutes at Dens Park, 1 apiece between Dundee and Rangers, as Jefty collects the ball from Nsiala and then knocks it down the line by Rami on. In steps Robertson, knocks it forward up towards the edge of the penalty. Nsiala just about getting the better of Simon Murray there, who then dips his head, and that's going to be a Dundee free kick. I wasn't sure if he'd put the head too low, but the referee says no, it was a high boot instead from Bayrami, and Dundee get the free kick about 35 yards from goal, and a chance to again try and threaten that Rangers backline. Just a moment before that, Nsiala just tried to get in front of Murray, and I wondered if the striker in his wily ways had just managed to spin him there, but the defender recovered well in the end. But they do have to defend this free kick.
Yeah, I think it was a free kick. I don't think Murray, you know, stoops that low. I think he just kind of ducks his neck slightly, and I think Bajrami's boot is high enough to warrant a free kick.
So Adewumi and Tiffany are over it. It's going to be Tiffany to flight it to the far corner of the penalty area, but it comes to nothing, and Matondo thumps it clear and picked up by Cherny, right hand side. Immediately tries to sweep it forward, looking for Matondo once more. Doesn't come his way, but Barron helps it forward again. On the halfway line, it's Jefty out to the left to Bayrami. 13 played in the second period. 1-1.
It's a poor free kick, isn't it?
Yeah.
He hung it out the way, but it was kind of hooked as well. So it was behind the Dundee players that were rushing in. Dundee have lost a threat. They had it in the first half. They weren't up the pitch many times, but they still looked a threat. This half, not so much.
Yeah, they're on the back foot for the most part of this second period so far, as Cherny takes a quick throw in to Diamondi and back onto the halfway line to Nsiala. Out to the left hand side it comes to Jefty, midway inside the Dundee half. Forward for Matondo. Matondo tries to spin and go down the line. Still in play despite a few calls from the home fans. He's having his jersey tugged as well by Mulligan, but manages to hold on to the Welsh winger. Back to Barron and now Diamondi. Barron once more, midway inside Dundee territory, plays it square to the advancing Proper on to Eagleman, tries to play the 1-2 with the centre back. Robertson steps in, looked like a foul on Robertson as he cleared, but the referee waves him to his feet and Rangers pick up once more. Jefty looking to try and take on Tiffany. Good challenge though from the winger to dispossess the Brazilian, and then Jefty, who's on a yellow card, perhaps catches Tiffany. The referee didn't see it, and I think Jefty's going to get away with that. It wasn't entirely clear how much contact there was first viewing, but Tiffany certainly went down as if there was plenty. Eagleman can't collect the ball at the edge of the penalty area, and Dundee will clear, but Jefty will have to be very careful, because any challenge like that, and the referee will have it in his mind that he's already on a yellow and might have got away with one there.
He will, and he was silly because he could have stayed out that challenge, but he dangled a foot in and certainly got a little bit of Tiffany, and he's a lucky boy. He should have just stood back and let Tiffany clear up the line. Dundee weren't going anywhere in particular, but he decided to hang a foot in and caught him slightly.
Yeah, well, he was unlucky to be sent off against Dinamo Kiev back in the early part of his Rangers career, but perhaps fortunate to get away with that as a potential second yellow. Diamonde dispossessed by Silla. Brilliant play by Silla, and now powering forward down the right hand side. Real enforcer in the middle of the park for Dundee, and did superbly to win that back for the home side. Now spins away from Barron, about 15 yards from the goal line. He's got very little support. Eventually he's won his side a throw-in. Terrific work there from the Dundee midfielder.
Yeah, it just shows you though, Rangers have managed to pin Dundee back in this second half. So when Silla does break, or one of the midfielders does get out, bodies aren't up in support, whereas in the first half it was the complete opposite. They had enough bodies forward, Dundee, that when they broke well, and they broke at pace.
Mulligan can't get past Matondo, who's back there, and ball eventually comes off Mulligan. It's behind for a goal kick. We've played just over an hour, 61 minutes actually, and still Dundee 1, Rangers 1, and Rangers probably, you would argue, having the better of this second half, with Dundee, you would probably say as well, the better side in the first period, despite not having as much of the ball. Richard saying at one stage 81% possession for Rangers, but didn't do all that much with it in the first half. Bit more effective in the second, but without having managed to get a second goal as yet, as Yilmaz dashes forward, tries to get on the end of the Czerny pass, but it's out of play off Barca, and Garza, I beg your pardon. Here's Czerny picking up. He's well challenged, but Barron plays it back the way to Proper. Now in Ciala, just inside the Dundee half, out to the left for Matondo. Hasn't really been able to make an impact as yet. Can he take on Tiffany here? He steps away from him in the angle of the box, then plays it back to Diamonde. Bayrami has to get himself back on side before he can collect the pass from Diamonde. Then he knocks it back to Barron, still midway inside the home side's territory. It's Czerny now stepping in from the right, as he loves to do, but he doesn't do it successfully that time, and Ingram picks up possession and brings it up to the halfway line on the left hand side, then just knocks it away from Barron down that left flank. He's still going, Ethan Ingram, almost at the byline now, tries to get away from Barron, who's stuck with him, and Barron's done well in the end and plays it off Ingram, and it will be a Rangers throw-in down near their own corner flag in the end, after a good play from Ingram, but he didn't have a great deal of support up with him, and Barron eventually able to dispossess him. Looks like Danilo is stripped and preparing to come on very shortly. See who is to replace, whether it'll be for Igman or perhaps Bayrami. Robertson at the back for Dundee. Silla almost caught in possession, but again shows good strength and awareness to hold on to the ball. Now it's Donnelly forward looking for Murray, but Proper wins the header above the Dundee striker. Silla nods it down, back comes Eagleman, tries to put some pressure on him, but again Silla holds him off and keeps possession for Dundee. Played forward by Donnelly. Poor attempted clearance by Yilmaz, but at the second time he does get it forward. Garza picks up in the middle of the park for the home side. Robertson again for the young Mexican, and back from Silla to Clark Robertson, the old head at the heart of the Dundee back line. Here's Mulligan just inside his own half, away from Matondo, back for Robertson again, takes a chance there against Bayrami, little back heel and turn away from the Albanian, does well, and finds Mulligan, who in turn plays it to Tiffany. Mulligan once more, slips it in for Murray, question of offside, into the pen, it's a goal! And the flag is up to deny Simon Murray, and the ball was flashed into the penalty area from Simon Murray and into the back of the net, and Dundee thought they were back in front. They might well be in the end, because the assistant's flag will be checked by VAR, and Dundee and Rangers now have an anxious wait to see whether that goal will stand, but the assistant thought it was off.
What a run from Josh Mulligan though, absolutely outstanding. Plays a wee 1-2, bursts forward, shakes off Matondo, plays in Simon Murray, who cuts it across the goal and it ends up in the net. However, it'll be an interesting and long wait for Clermont to see if this one stands, but my goodness, Josh Mulligan, great run.
I must admit, I thought Murray had just gone early. I thought, I just hold your run a little bit more, but brilliant run, as you say, busting forward, 2 or 3, strength, makes the pass. The first time Dundee have been a threat and got a finished article, and he flashes it in, put in the net. I think it was Adewumi, who put it into the net, but it's a close one, but I thought he'd just gone too early, Simon Murray.
Well, VAR and the referee in discussion at the moment as Greg Aitken and the VAR officials check the lines in the studio before this decision is made. It's Dundee hoping that they are back in front after a good counter-attack. Terrific run, as the guys are saying, from Josh Mulligan. The offside is confirmed and Rangers breathe a sigh of relief, and Adewumi denied a second goal of the evening, and the change will be made, and it's going to be Connor Barron to make way for Danilo. So that looks pretty attacking. Is Bayrami going to drop back into a deeper role? Then on comes Danilo to play up in behind Hamza Igman. It's a pretty attacking change, isn't it?
It is, so we'll wait and see the exact setup, see what happens when the game settles into a bit more of a rhythm. I thought Connor Barnes started the game really well. I know Rangers conceded early, but I thought he looked like he had the bit between his teeth to get the ball, spray it around, but he's kind of faded as the games went on, and Silla's got the better of him a couple of times, and Clement obviously understands the necessity to get a second goal here because he's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, they almost lost the second goal there. Fortunately for them, Simon Murray had just gone a shade too early before he flashed the ball in for Adewumi to knock it into the net. Here is Bayrami looking like he is just dropping slightly deeper and then clips into the penalty area. Good ball for Yilmaz on the right hand side up against Ingram, having to come back the way. Finds a pass for Diamonde, turns one way then the other, flashes the shot at goal, it's blocked, comes back to Bayrami. He has to go back the way to Nsiala, and now Proper once more out to the right hand side to Yilmaz. Rangers having got off the one there, can they take advantage of that? Danilo's in there, has that been kept in play? The assistant on the far side says no, it's out for a corner. Almost a quarter of the game to go, and Rangers and Dundee still level pegging, one apiece.
Yeah, doing the right things now though, just getting the ball, feeding it wide. Cross comes in the box and Clark Robertson has to deal with and puts out for the corner, but good pressure from Rangers.
And it comes from Czerny, curled inwards from the right hand side and that left foot. Dundee haven't managed to clear, and Nsiala picks up at the back post. Can he turn it back into the box? It comes off a couple of players and then it's knocked out of the penalty area, and Adewumi picks up against Yilmaz. Dundee almost did a 2-on-1 there, and Jeffrey gets away with one as well, because he tried to just flick the ball beyond Mulligan, and if he had just managed to get that to his strike partner there, Simon Murray, then Dundee would have been in behind once more. Rangers committing a lot of bodies forward now in the search for the 3 points.
They have been better in this second half, Rangers, but then you need to look at chances created, and it's all square. Czerny's had a big chance at the start of the half, and then Dundee broke magnificently well there, and I'm sure it was pretty close with Simon Murray being offside. So Dundee aren't going away, although they might come under a bit of pressure in this last 15 minutes. They'll believe that they can counter-attack and get another goal here.
Diamonde has it on the halfway line, just beyond the midway point in this second period. 1-1 it stands. Dundee having taken the lead early on through Adewumi. Rangers pegging them back through Czerny, who's in possession right here, and he's going to go for goal from distance, and Carson not gathering it first time, but he had time to get up and hold on to it second time around before Danilo could advance and latch onto that. It was very ambitious from Czerny, you have to say. He did get it on target, but you're really going to score from that, what was it, 35, 40 yards?
I would say 40, yeah.
40 yards,
just a bit. I was thinking the same. Listen, he got a hold of it, it was moving a little bit. Carson had to watch it, but it wasn't beating him. It had to get right through him. It had to have been a goalkeeping mistake, but he got his body behind it, parried it and got it at the second attempt. But good strike from Czerny, but ambitious, as you say.
Out for a throw in on the far side to Dundee, left hand side as they come forward, as they're about to make a couple of changes of their own. I've got a pretty thin back line, thin substitutes bench just at the moment, as Seb Palmer-Holden and Julian Vetso are the players to come on, and Simon Murray making way. That's pretty unusual to see him come off. He's replaced by Palmer-Holden. I wonder if he's... I mean, maybe he sprinted off. Didn't look like he was nursing anything, as Tiffany's the other player.
That's how he walks, Al, in everyday life at that pace. He runs everywhere.
It's surprising, isn't it, to see Simon Murray come off?
No, it is, but Seb Palmer-Holding's a good player in his own right as well, and he can score a goal, so maybe Tony Docherty just thinks, do you know what, let's give Rangers something a little bit different to think about. Possibly takes the ball in slightly better than Simon Murray, but he's not as much of a goal threat as Simon Murray, so yeah, he's maybe just thinking a little bit of a different dimension for the last 15 minutes, see if we can get up the pitch and grab ourselves a goal, because I still think that Dundee have got every chance of nicking another goal out here, I really do.
Yeah, even for all the pressure, you're right, they've only had that one shot at goal. Well, Czerny with that ambitious one, 40 yards, but the one that Carson got down to his right to save from Czerny, that's all Rangers have had on target this second half as well, even though again they've had all the possession.
Diamonde out to the right hand side to Yilmaz, midway inside the Dundee half. 20 minutes to play, 1-1 as Danilo and Egeman combine. Then Danilo tries to send it through to the edge of the penalty, and that was cut out, but it's worked its way out to the left hand side. Jefty into the box, knocked away by Astley. Bayrami looking to find Jefty once more, and then Danilo back to Diamonde, low ball in, spins there, it's Matondo inside the penalty area, just couldn't find room for the shot, breaks out to the right hand side to Yilmaz helps it back into the box, Clark Robertson climbs and heads away, Egeman stretches out the right boot, brings it under control, but then he's lost it to Garza. Czerny finds Diamonde and all the way back to Nsiala, who just play it square just inside his own half to Proper, who finds Diamonde once more. Rangers searching for a second goal here to put them in front, having survived an offside call that would have, had it gone Dundee's favour, given them the lead. Here's Czerny, who's left it to Yilmaz, right hand side, up against Ingram. Little step over from the Turk, almost at the byline, coming back the way and finds Czerny once more, 25 yards from goal, trying a little in cricket. That's Egeman with a shot, it's well saved by Trevor Carson down to his left hand side, and then there's a knock in the face there, I think, for Garza, and play's going to have to stop. It was a fiercely hit shot there from Egeman, but Carson got down well to push it away.
He did, and it's one you'd expect Carson to make. The save from Czerny was probably a lot more difficult, but decent strike from 20-25 yards, but Carson, again, you'd expect him to save that, and I still think if you're restricting Rangers to shots from 40 yards and 20 yards, regardless of how well they're struck, you've got to be doing something right.
It was instinctive from Egeman. I thought Carson did pretty well, because it was hit early and it was a react save. Yeah, he should be keeping out, but it's one he had to have strong hands and beat away, because you've seen them go right through you and sneak in the net. But good strike from Egeman.
Still 1-1 then, with almost 73 played at Dens Park. There's an offside flag up against Dundee. It'll be a free kick to Rangers inside their own half. Diamonde takes it quickly, plays it square to Nsiala, forward for Matondo down the left hand side, tries to step away from Vetro, but just runs straight into him, and Dundee through Mulligan have found Silla. Now Vetro coming down the right hand side, back goes Diamonde, but Vetro on the right hand side of the box puts it in, and it's Adewumi just over the top this time. Well, he's been very, very lively tonight. He's had the ball in the back of the net a couple of times. One stood, one was chopped off, and that one went over the top from Adewumi, but he certainly looked in the mood this evening. Good play from Vetro as well to pick him out, but still Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Well, it's the eye test versus the stat test, because anyone looking at the stats on this game sitting in their house will be thinking that Rangers are dominating, and it's so far from the case, because there's more than one way to play a game of football and win a game, and Dundee, they're set up so well, and there was a 20-minute spell in this half, yes, where they're under pressure, they couldn't get up the pitch, but they're set up very, very well. They're dangerous on the counter-attack. Adewumi and Vetro, they are outstanding. The ball ends up way over the bar, but Dundee are playing very well here.
They've become a threat again, Rory, haven't they? It all started with Silla breaking up and then getting there before Diamonde to poke it wide, but they're getting crosses in now, they're getting a finished article, they're getting shots at goal, and that was a really good chance once it fell to Adewumi just to hit target and probably score.
Just over a quarter of an hour left, one apiece at Dens Park as Proper picks up midway inside his own half and then plays it into Bayrami for Czerny. Looks to try and play the 1-2, it didn't come off, but Diamonde picks up on the loose ball and plays it out to the left hand side for Jefty. Jefty powering forward down the left hand side, Matondo back to Jeffy at the byline, into the penalty area, but there was no one there, no one gambling in the 6-yard box, and it's all the way across. But the one thing you would have to say is Jeffy must surely have been able to lift his head and see that there was no one in that area rather than firing it in.
Well, I think the cross is too high, so even if Danilo and Nigaman are attacking it, I don't think there's enough quality on the cross to get on the end of it. But why they're not busting a gut to get between the sticks? There's two of them there, standing watching Jeffy. You know, it's one each with, you know, little time left. They're struggling massively away from home. Get yourself in there and get yourself a tap in. As I said, I don't think the cross was great anyway, but I'm surprised that they weren't, you know, at least trying to get on the end of it.
Yeah, they should have been trying to go on the end of it, but the cross should have been better. They should have just fired it low once he was in behind the defence.
Vetro's nicked the ball from Jeffy, and now Adewumi comes forward. Kelly parries it, comes back to Mulligan. Will it fall for a Dundee player inside the penalty area? Mulligan's managed to keep it in play, right hand side. And well, maybe he's not, because the assistant has flagged now, and it looks like it's for an offside rather than for the ball having gone out of play. But that was another Dundee break that might well have ended in a goal had they just had a little bit of fortune, a little bit of composure. But in the end, it comes to nothing, and it's still Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Adewumi's a right good player. Every time I see him, I'm impressed with him. Such a strong runner, takes the ball in well, and great hit as well.
Quick, direct, dangerous, and it's the right way. It's the right time to play against Rangers when they've got all this possession to suddenly hit them on the counter. It's been dangerous all night.
Jeffy from the left-hand side sends it in once more. That one's too high for Danilo as well, and it's going to go out for a throw-in over on the far side. Jeffy gets himself into some good positions, but the delivery doesn't always live up to the same standards.
Yeah, going back, I think if it would have probably given the Rangers strikers a better chance, and Rory's right though, they've got to be pushing themselves to get into those positions. But once he was in behind, I think if he just flashes it across the ground, I think the strikers will go for it and they'll make their minds up. But anyway, going back to Dundee, it's a great chance. Was it Vetro that hit the shot? Because I think it was Mulligan that was offside eventually coming back from there that they flagged. But I think if they hit the shot and it goes in, and it was, I think, goalkeeper Kelly just beat it away. But I think it was a Vetro shot. If that had been either side of them, it's a goal. It's a really good opportunity for Dundee.
Dundee are going to have to make another change. Looks like Garza has run his race. He's just gone down with what looked like a bit of cramp, and there's going to be a relatively rare appearance, certainly recently, for Sammy Braybrook. Haven't seen too much of him of late as Cesar Garza makes way on his first start. He's put a good shift in the midfield, and you would have to say also, like, one of the biggest accolades you could put Dundee's way, you haven't really noticed the absence of Lyle Cameron all that much. Is that fair, Rory?
Yeah, I think that is fair. Well, I think Mo Silla has anchored really, really well, and so is the man that's coming off the pitch just now, Gartha. I think he's been good as well, and that's allowed Adeyemi and Tiffany, when he was on the pitch, to be more expansive, and Mulligan charging up and down that right-hand side. Ingram's been good as well on the left, so I think that the balance has been good. Yes, they've missed maybe that kind of deep line midfielder sprinting into the box to pick up seconds, but overall, I agree with you. I think they've done perfectly fine without him.
They would, of course, prefer to be able to call upon Cameron, who's been a terrific player for them over the last 2 or 3 seasons. He was huge in the championship winning season, and certainly he's adapted to Premiership life really well. And he will, in time, go on to even bigger and better things, you would imagine, as Braybrook comes on for his first appearance in 9 games, first since Hibernian on the 23rd of November, as Rangers just run that out of play over on the far side, and it's going to be a goal kick to Dundee. We've got 11 minutes plus stoppage time to play. You're listening to Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland, where I can tell you the scoreline at Dens Park remains Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
To be fair to Dundee, and I'm sure Rory agrees, they've worked their way back into this game in this second half, because I thought, right, you've lost your threat now in the first 15-20 minutes. But as the half's going on, they've looked more threatening. You're right to say it, Rory. They look as if they could maybe nick a winner, because they have efforts in goal and look dangerous.
They're in possession here through Donnelly, who hoists it forward proper with a less than convincing header clear. Vetro, though, can't properly gather it, and it's backed away to Liam Kelly from Diamonde. And forward come Rangers down the right-hand side. Yilmaz forgetting to take the ball with him, and then he hacks the Dundee player to the ground and concedes a free kick, and perhaps even earns himself a yellow card as Ross McCausland's about to come on for Rangers. Didn't see a yellow card being flashed there. But
extremely lenient. He's had a night to forget, Yilmaz. As I said, I don't want to be too critical. He's playing on the wrong side, and I think he's done well there.
Well, he's been replaced here.
Yeah, but he's not had a great night. He's made a few mistakes, and I think he's lucky to escape a yellow there.
Yeah, and he's been replaced, as I say, by Ross McCausland, and again, it's a pretty attacking change. I mean, is McCausland going to go and slot into that right back role? Looks like he is, but clearly he's more of an attacker than a defender, so he'll be looking to get forward whenever possible in these closing 10 minutes. But they've got a free kick to defend here. It's on the halfway line on the left-hand side for Dundee. Ross McCausland is another one who's not played a lot.
I think he just wants a natural right footer, so that if the ball does get worked out to that side, he can put it in the box.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? He's not been in the squad the last couple, but here he is coming on as the free kick is fired into the penalty area, but it's a wayward one from Braybrook, and easily gathered by Liam Kelly. Just under 10 to play then. One apiece at Dens Park as Diamonde plays it out to the left-hand side to Jefte. And now for Matondo, who really hasn't made the impact that you would imagine Philippe Clement was looking for when he introduced him at half-time. Diamonde picks up, tries to thread it through. Igman will go and chase that, keeps it in at least left-hand side, tries to play it off a Dundee player for a corner and manages to do that. Rangers have a corner left-hand side, trying to find a winning goal potentially here as Bayrami on the left-hand side stands over the corner. Czerny though pulls rank and says, I'll take this one. I'll be an outswinger on the left foot then. And it comes from Czerny towards the back post. It's won by Donnelly. McCausland though gets it back into the box. Proper tries to get it back to McCausland. That's broken down, and forward comes Adewumi on the counter. Up against Jefte, into the Rangers half it comes, and he slides it through, but it's cut out by a Rangers player and picked up by Diamonde. It was Matondo who got the interception, and here he is picking up and playing it out to the left-hand side to Igman. 8 to play, one apiece. 1-2 there between Danilo and Igman. Igman on the left-hand side. What is he going to pull out here? Gets it back from Czerny, then stands up to the back post looking for Danilo. Too much elevation on it, and behind for a goal kick. And yet another Rangers attack comes to nothing, and it remains Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
It was really unlucky from Adewumi again, and it was him that had the shot that the goalkeeper beat away, but he just as Rory's been saying all night, he just picks up the ball, he just direct, gets at players nice and quick. He was unlucky with the pass that get cut out, because Dundee had players in support, then Rangers got the other side, and I thought, oh, Mulligan's got caught ball watching when Igaman played the 1-2. He just watched the ball and let Igaman go on his outside, but got the recovery, and eventually when Igaman's cross comes in, it was over hit and they get away with it. But it's an intriguing last 8-9 minutes or so. Could be anybody's, this one.
Yeah, Ingram battling away there, and he's won his side free kick for initially the challenge by Diamonde, I think. There was a secondary challenge came in as well, and the free kick has been given for the first of those. And Dundee, just a few yards inside the Rangers half, will be able to put it further forward and try and snatch a goal that would take them into the top 6. Tony Docherty says he doesn't look at the league table at this stage of the season, it's just game by game. But
right.
Well, he'll be happy enough to look at it if they're up in 6th by the end of the evening, which they would be if they could grab a winner. Braybrook again tries to arrow it in. It's another poor ball, you'd have to say. It's been kept in initially by Ashley. He's done really well. Now he gets it back into the box, headed away by Nsiala. Bayrami picks up but can't hold on to it, and then Ashley makes the challenge once more on Matondo. This time knocks it out of play, and it'll be a Rangers throw in just inside their own half, quickly taken by Bayrami. Now Jefte moves away from Vetro, another on loan from Burnley, and then Proper out to the right hand side for Czerny. Can either of these sides find a late winner? Czerny looking to try and create one for Rangers here. Into the box it comes, away by Donnelly, who's been solid enough on his return to the Dundee setup, only having signed yesterday from Nottingham Forest. Czerny looking to link with McCausland, but Adewumi's done brilliantly again to not only win it back, then win his side a foul on that left-hand side. A free kick comes their way, and a yellow card for McCausland, who's just been introduced, for dragging him to the ground.
Yeah, Adewumi's been the best player on the pitch. I think Sailor has been excellent as well for Dundee, but Adewumi's been such a good outlet for them. Look, in years gone by, you know, against Rangers and Celtic, I've been in that position myself, even at 1 each with this length of time to play. You're sitting there and you're going, oh, it could happen. Rangers could score, Celtic could score. That feeling's still very much there with Celtic. But I'm watching this game and I'm thinking, I just don't see Rangers scoring. I just don't. And that's maybe a brave thing to say, but
it's Rory.
But I genuinely think if anyone's going to score in this game again, it'll be Dundee.
Trevor Carson then with the free kick from midway inside his own half. Down the left-hand side it goes. Flicked on by Palmer Holden, but only to go behind for a goal kick to Rangers. Just under 5 of the 90 left. Still Dundee 1, Rangers 1. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Rangers about to bring on, I think that's Oscar Cortez, who's been stripped for the last few minutes. Not a great deal of time for him to make an impact, as then Ciala brings it up to the halfway line. Out to the left it goes to Bayrami, quickly on to Egeman, then through the legs of Mulligan for Jefty. Jefty into the penalty area. Can he find a pass? He didn't want to take the shot on his right foot. Back to Diamondi, who cracks off the crossbar from over 25 yards. What an effort that was from Diamondi. It dipped on its way through, and Trevor Carson watched in disbelief and then relief as it came off his crossbar and away to safety, and it remains Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Yeah, he was rooted to the spot. Magnificent strike from Diamondi, really good. Jefty, I thought he had an opportunity to run further into the box. He cuts it back. Diamondi takes the touch. He's got his hands in his head now. Great strike.
Yeah, it's Václav Černý, the goal scorer for Rangers, who is being replaced by Oscar Cortez for his final few minutes. But Rangers so close to getting their noses in front for the first time, Billy.
That was a top-notch effort. It really was. Jefty didn't fancy taking on the shot. Diamondi showed him the road forward. He struck it, it's moving, and goalkeeper Carson is beaten. He's just watching it and hoping that it hits the frame or clears the crossbar, and it crashes off the crossbar. And Rory, you nearly get your words rammed down your throat, my son.
That's what we're here, to get shot down.
Oh no, exactly. To be fair, you could be correct.
Diamondi into the penalty area, away by Robertson. Diamondi trying to keep it alive. Picked up by McCausland. Right hand side is Cortez. In it comes. Jefty with a header onto the roof of the net from 12 yards. Header in his hands again. That one wasn't as close as the previous effort from Diamondi, but Rangers throwing everything at it to try and win it in the last few minutes. But it's still Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Yeah, it doesn't generate the power, and it's difficult to do that when the ball's kind of stood up like that. You need to generate all the power yourself. He's running back the way as well, so probably does as well as he can in that situation. But look, even if Rangers Dundee don't go on to win it, I just don't think that Rangers have got enough in them at this moment in time. Don't think they're creating chance after chance after chance. Yes, a good strike from 25 yards rattles off the bar, but you know, again, watching this game, the game could go either way with the chances that have been created.
Donnelly forward for Dundee. Proper gets his head to it just inside his own half to the left hand side for Jefty. Jefty looking to move away from Vetro. He sticks a leg in, but it falls for Diamondi, and then Jefty once more. Toss comes Astley to knock it out of play midway inside the Dundee half. Just under a couple of minutes left to play as the throw-in is quickly taken by Jefty. Back to Bayrami and then to Proper, who fires it out of play in the far side, to the disbelief of the Rangers fans and the joy from the home fans as he just skews the pass well off its intended target, and it will be a throw-in over on the far side. And just over a minute to play. It's still Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Infuriating if you're the Rangers manager, where you're trying to build an attack, and we've been correct all night. I mean, that one was a bit different because it was like a 25-30 yard pass, but the 5-yard passes have been just rolling out the pitch, poor touches, and that one Proper, it was probably the worst of them all.
Just kills all momentum when that happens, doesn't it, Billy?
He had so much space to hit as well, but he just shanked it right out the pitch.
Rangers have a free kick inside their own half with just seconds of the 90 left to play. The fourth official about to show the board. It will indicate how much added on time there is for either side to try and win it, as Egeman picks up possession midway inside the Dundee half, lays it back to Bayrami, out to the right hand side to McCausland. McCausland still midway inside the Dundee half. Back to Diamondi and then to the right-hand side for Cortez, who slips. The ball's already played. It's Danilo right-hand side. Cortez once more, almost at the byline. Tries a little trick to get away from Donnelly. Doesn't come off, but he still has it. Cortez, he's going to be crowded out here. It's a goal kick to Dundee. There's a couple of Dundee players in Donnelly and Adewumi crowd out Cortez, and it's behind for a goal kick as we enter 4 minutes of stoppage time. Dundee 1, Rangers 1. Is there a winner in this one?
It could be. Both teams look dangerous, but Rangers have.
Do you think Rangers believe? Do you think they believe they can win this?
I get where you're coming from, Rhoda. I really do, because yeah, you're right to say that Celtic Rangers, the past would have been an onslaught, but it's not been like that. You still feel as if Dundee could break, and that's why you come out with your statement, quite rightly so. They haven't
a chance. The players on the pitch really believe they can go on and win a game like this.
You see that with Proper when he just shanks out the pitch, and there's been passes going astray all night, but that's because they've got themselves once again to a late situation where they're chasing the game, and as Philip Clement said yesterday, they are now rushing decisions.
Here's McCausland, and then Cortez back to Proper for Nsiala. Tony Docherty desperate for his side to certainly not lose this one. He'd love them to win it, but they certainly do not want to lose, having led early on and been so good in the game. Jefty fires it into the penalty area, away by Ashley. Diamondi keeps it alive. He was fouled there at the edge of the box, but play continues with Rangers still in possession. Nsiala back to Diamondi, closed down there by Palmer Holden, who's having to do some defensive work, having come on as the striker. Proper out to McCausland right hand side. Now Cortez takes over from the right, swings it in on the left foot, well won by Clark Robertson, heads it well clear. Proper out to the left hand side for Bayrami midway inside the Dundee half, hoists it forward. It's Danilo, chests it down inside the penalty area, left hand side, lays it back for Egeman into the area. No takers in there either, and it's just hacked away by the Dundee defence. A couple of minutes of added on time yet to play. Rangers looking for a winner here. It's Cortez right hand side, into the area it comes. Matondo can't get onto it, cleared as far as Nsiala. Helps it back into the box, but it's a wayward one from Nsiala, straight behind for a goal kick. And although he's had a debut that he can be pretty proud of, the young Frenchman, that wasn't a good pass, straight out of play, and it will be a Dundee goal kick. There's a Dundee player down, needing a bit of treatment as well, deep into stoppage time. It's Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Yeah, it's not an ideal time for that type of mistake from Nsiala, but I think he's been very good for his debut. I think he can be pleased. It's not an ideal time of the match to kick the ball out the pitch. However, I think he's looked composed, he's defended pretty well at times, and yeah, he looks a right good player, especially given it's his first game in professional football, you know.
Well, it's that time where it's your young, most inexperienced player, centre-half, who's left to unlock the door, try and unlock the door, and he gets the pass all wrong, as it's been for Rangers. It should be the more creative players who want on the ball, get it wide, get crosses in the box.
Here's Proper, out to McCausland, right-hand side. Is there a final chance here, perhaps? Into the box it comes, away by Donnelly. Diamondi picks it up, lifts it back to Cortez. Right-hand side is McCausland, gets it from Proper. Diamondi trying to release McCausland once more. He's done well, Diamondi. Now trying to find Cortez, and Adewumi is seeing it out of play and behind for a goal kick. Rangers wanted the corner, it's not forthcoming. 30 seconds to play. Dundee 1, Rangers 1.
Well, he can do it all, Billy. That's unbelievably good defending. He shields the ball out of the pitch, gets his body in front, and relieves all the pressure off Dundee.
Said it to me before the game, and I've seen him a couple of times, but he's been outstanding tonight. He's a player.
And it was a baptism of fire, because I think his debut came at Ibrox, and I was at that game, and all he did was run up and down the wing without getting a touch. Whereas today he's really been involved in the game. He's been excellent.
Carson clears the goal kick. Full time, and the Dundee fans celebrate the point that they have earned. They might well have won all 3 points were it not for an offside flag that denied them a second goal in that second period, denied Adewumi a second goal at that. Simon Murray adjudged to have gone just off side earlier in the move before he flashed it into the box. But it was Adewumi who gave Dundee the lead in just 6 minutes. Mulligan doing great work to hit the byline and cut it back for Adewumi to knock it past Liam Kelly from about 8 yards. Rangers huffed and puffed and eventually got the equaliser about 11 minutes before the break. Egeman forcing the ball through to Czerny, and Czerny getting the ball from the right-hand side through the legs of Trevor Carson. Dundee will claim they should have had a penalty at the other end in the build-up to, or just before the build-up to the goal, but that was reviewed and waved away by both the referee and VAR, and the goal stood for Rangers. That was an end to the scoring. Second half, Rangers started more brightly than they had in the first period, but couldn't find a goal, and it was that Dundee goal that was chalked off 20 minutes into the second period. Mulligan doing great work before feeding Murray, who flashed it across goal, knocked into the net by Adewumi, but Murray was flagged just offside. Rangers again, we pressed for the winning goal. Diamondi cracked a brilliant effort off the bar. Must have been fully 28 yards from goal when he struck it, but he was unfortunate to see it come off the woodwork. The Rangers fans voicing their displeasure as the players and manager make their way down the tunnel at Dens Park. A lot of disgruntled Rangers fans there, seeing their side fail to win on the road once again. It means the lead at the top for Celtic is now 15 points. It's their biggest advantage at this stage of the season since the Invincible season, and any hopes Rangers have of mounting a title challenge have been well and truly extinguished long ago, you would imagine. So it's another failure to win on the road, but a good point for Dundee, and they will be delighted with the performance as well, and might well have recorded the victory. Finishes at Dens Park. Dundee 1, Rangers 1.